Oh, yo. It's D.Arthur in the building. Talking to you guys today about why you will become more attractive to women on semen retention. And if there was ever a girl, any girl that you might have been like curious about or wanted her to be in your life, I'm telling you how you're gonna attract her indefinitely when you're on retention. There's a science to this, guys. There's a science. There's an exact science to this. Whatever thought you put into anything, and you habitually think about, and you habitually speak about, and you habitually have emotion about, and you may even cry when you're thinking about it because you're that deeply connected to it, or you just become very happy when you're deeply connected to it, and that thought becomes like your habitual thinking, and it's very like prolonged in a way, and you really have high hopes for it to like come to fruition into your life. If all of this is true, and you really do have intention about making whatever you're speaking about, whatever you're thinking about, an actual reality, what's gonna happen is that you're gonna send thought energy, heart energy to the thing that you're thinking about, quote unquote. Let's say the woman that you're thinking about, or the person that you're thinking about, or the thing, or the image that you're thinking about. And what tends to happen when you do this is that the more thought energy, the more this is ingrained in your subconscious, and it becomes your habitual thinking, as in like when you wake up, it's like your habitual thoughts, it's your habitual thought. Like, what's going to happen is that your subconscious is receiving these messages, and whatever you nourish in your subconscious mind, whatever you nourish and you think it's let's say, and you make it like your reality, and you nourish it, and you sow it, it's gonna be your reality eventually. It's going to be your reality eventually. Now, this is not to say that you have one day of where you think about something and then you forget about it for the last 6 to 7 days. This isn't what I'm saying. I'm saying whatever image that stays in your thoughts, and there's deep emotion, and you habitually think about it, let's say every day, habitually, it comes up. What's gonna happen is that, and you visualize it, and you have a very deep bond with whatever you're habitually thinking about. What's gonna happen is that it's eventually going to come into your life. Eventually, it's gonna come in your life. In this thing called divine timing, meaning it could take a year, 2 years, or months. It could be tomorrow. It could be next year. It doesn't really matter when. Just know that it's coming to you at the perfect time. So you have to get into this mood of receiving. You have to become receiving. You have to be in a mood of reception. There's going to be nudges that you start taking when this starts happening to you. And it's called inspired action. The more inspired action you'll take, the more on time the thing that you were hoping for will come into your life. This will happen. It just has to be your habitual thinking, your habitual thoughts. You habitually speak about it. You have an optimistic mindset that it is coming to you, and you realize it is coming to you because this is how the laws of the universe works. And you carry out your day as if it's already here, as if it's already coming. And the moment you're detached from when it's coming, how it's coming, why it's not coming, and you're just going about your normal, let's say, day, that's when it usually tends to come up. Maybe you were doing laundry, and then you get a thought telling you that you need to do something, or maybe you need to follow somebody, or you just need to take an action on something. and then it'll eventually come up. It will eventually come up in this thing called divine timing. And when you're on semen retention, everything that you really want starts becoming, let's say, yours. You start thinking from a higher perspective. You start realizing that every decision you make is going to create your reality some way or another. So you start becoming more intentional. You start realizing that let's say poverty or riches, it's all a decision. You can decide to be poor, you can decide to be rich, you can decide to make more income. It's all a decision. It mostly comes down to you. It all comes down to the way you're thinking, because a lot of people, when they try to get out of their current circumstance, or they're trying to attract, let's say, a woman, they start thinking from what they know, only from what they know. They fail to start thinking from a higher perspective. They fail to start thinking from a person's perspective of someone who already has what they want and how they would go about it. And that's how they start getting the same situations and the same circumstances. But the moment you decide to kind of change your, let's say, perspective, and you stop giving excuses, that's when the entire world kind of rearranges itself to get what you want. And when you're on semen retention, all of this becomes your insight. You start vibrating at a higher frequency, at a higher consciousness. Everything in this world vibrates. Energy cannot be destroyed or created. So everything is vibrating. And if you want if you want a different, say, lifestyle, a different life, you're going to have to start vibrating. You're going to have to be this thing called a vibrational match for your desire. Meaning, whatever it is that you want, it can't be above you. It has to be on the same playing field as you. You have to start thinking from the same playing field as it. And then it'll eventually just sort of morph into your reality. But the thing is, a lot of people feel like they're not worthy. They're not worthy of that girl. They're not worthy of riches. They're not worthy of where they want to be. They're not worthy because they have this. They can't do this. They can't do this. They're not this. And that's basically the ego telling you to keep you the same. Being realistic keeps you the same. You have to start realizing that you have to start realizing that you can become what you want to become only if you're the same vibrational desire. You're on the same vibrational frequency as your desire. So that means if we're talking about, let's say, a woman, you have to realize that if you want her, you have to take her kind of for granted, like you already get similar women like her. You can't put her on a pedestal. You can't put her on a, I've seen someone do this. You can't put her on a let's say a Facebook group, put her picture up there, and then ask a group of other men how to acquire her. You have to realize that you can get what you want, but you can't put the thing that you want above you. It has to be on the same playing field. It's called being a vibrational match for your desire. So if it's riches that you want, if it's abundance that you want, if it's woman that you want, if it's more income, if it's anything, you have to realize you have to take it kind of for granted. It has to be in the same vibrational frequency as you want, and then you have to start operating from as someone who already has something like that. And this is pretty much how you really get what you really want. So you start going from that perspective, and then you start working down. You start telling yourself, someone who already has this type of woman, how would they be? How would they act? How would they dress? How would they be? What would their attitude be during the day? And then you start, and then insight comes to you, and then you start working down and saying what you have to change from yourself to attract the thing that you really want. And higher amplified energy makes this a lot easier when you're on retention. It makes it easier for all this insight to come to you. because you're operating from a higher perspective on life. You're in tune with the divine. You're in tune with yourself. You know your soul mission, and you know that everything is cause and effect. So you have to do something different if you want a different picture. A lot of guys like to do the same thing and complain about why they're getting the same results. So do something different if you want something different. Become someone different if you want something different. A lot of people just think that they're not worthy of whatever they want, and they always keep themselves down with all of the blocks that they want. So yeah, you have to become a vibrational match for your desire in order to attract your desire. So like, comment, and subscribe below, and we will see you in the next one.